Hey, what's up with y'all? Today we reading out of this book, and we doing part 1. Okay. Part 1. So, you got these. Okay. And let's go to chapter 1, which is the Black Goddess. Okay. And this is the Black Mistress. Okay. And I want you guys to go look up the word mistress. Okay. I know you guys are automatically thinking some perverted stuff because that's what our society has brainwashed you to think. But if you go look up the definition, you will see what it means. Okay. Nothing to do with no relations. Okay, it's all about mistress means a woman with power and authority. Okay, go look it up. Okay, we're gonna get into this right now. All right. And the black woman, you guys need to go read this book. Okay, we've been aborting way too many children. We're going to get into this book another day also. Please stop opening up your legs if you don't want to get pregnant. We're losing too many of our people. Alright, so the Black Goddess. Nature's mother who brings all to life and revives all from day to day. The food of life, though grantest in eternal fidelity. And when the soul has retired, we take refuge in thee. All that thou grantest falls back somewhere into thy womb. Okay, and that was the prayer of Terra Matris, 3rd century AD. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into this book. The Black Goddess. We live in an age of rediscovery and remembrance, where the divine feminine as goddess is being recalled to consciousness. Okay? A lot of people like to say that, the black woman is God. But how would they know? Nobody knows who God is. God could be a father. According to Christianity, God could be a mother. Now, before I get all the way into this book, I want to let you know Sophia is a figure from the Gnostics. So in order to know who Sophia is, you have to go look up the Gnostics. Okay? And the Gnostic scriptures, we're going to get into that on another day. But Sophia comes from the Gnostic scriptures. Okay? You're going to understand that. Okay, so one of her key visionaries has been the poet Robert Graves, whose book, The White Goddess, so they got a book called The White Goddess. It's always going to be somebody trying to contend with you, has awakened a sleeping world. Though many have attempted to revamp this material, few have been as successful to provoking response at that creative level. Graves wrote lyrically and with poetic awe about the inspiring white goddess and her priestess muse representative woman. White Goddess. Okay, the White Goddess. Okay, so if you want to check that book out, that's the book. The book is called White Goddess, and it's by Robert Graves. Okay. He wrote as a male poet. Okay. Totally in love with and in the service of an extracting mistress. And remember, mistress is not nothing perverted. It can be. used as that, but in this case, it's not being used as that. He also wrote in less detail about the challenging black goddess, she who is so far hardly more than a word of hope whispered among the few who have served their apprenticeship to the white goddess. The divine feminine may indeed be discerned as a white goddess of love and inspiration by men who, responsibly enough, are drawn to her attractive and fascinating qualities. But the goddess of wisdom, the black goddess, oh, okay, so they're trying to say the white goddess is of love and inspiration. Okay, but the black goddess is of wisdom. That's what they're trying to say. I mean, you take all this with a grain of salt. These are people who wrote these books. You know what I'm saying? The best thing for you to do is go do your own research. Even though we do get the knowledge from these books, but they're not always 100% right neither. But these are pretty accurate, and there's some good wisdom and knowledge in here. Okay, so, but the goddess of wisdom, the black goddess, who is at the heart of their creative process, cannot be easily viewed. As Graves himself remarked, she may even appear disembodied rather than incarnate. Why should this be so? The black goddess is the veiled Sophia, who in many forms is a primal manifestation of the divine feminine. She may be more readily discerned by women because her hidden process and powers accord to their own unspoken but instinctive qualities. Men rarely approach her except in fear, for she is manifest not as a sensuous and desirable muse, okay, but as a dark mother, imminent and brooding with unknown and unguessable power, or as a Virgo. Interesting. Or as a Virgo, a potent virgin. Okay. So remember I told y'all earlier about how the mistress word was used, how we have been taught what to think a mistress is. No. It's the dark goddess as a Virgo, as the potent virgin. See, a virgin. It's a virgin. Okay. Fear of the feminine stems from this avoidance, and so it is that there are few texts speaking of her qualities. For few men have stayed long enough in her vicinity to record their findings, and even fewer women have written about their organic experiences of her. It is so that I write this text as an introduction to the idea of the black goddess, who is the powerful foundation for our understanding of the divine feminine. For it is only by homage to her that we may find the goddess of wisdom. Okay, Sophia has been on the stage since the beginning, for she is a creating goddess. Of course, once you go read the Gnostic scriptures, you'll understand that. Yeah, you understand that. And she's trying to climb back up because of destruction she did to the world. She had a son without a man. She created a God-like being son without a man, and ruined the earth. But that's neither here nor there. We'll get into that on another video. Okay, let's get back to this. Okay, she is a creating goddess, She lies waiting to be discovered within the black goddess, who is her mirror image, knowing that until we have that important recognition, she is going to have to come again and again in many shapes. She is waiting in the wings patiently to emerge, knowing that she will have to play many parts, including breaches parts in the forthcoming scenario. The appreciation of the black goddess is coming slowly into perspective within the West. Okay. Throughout the last 2,000 years, when the goddess has been marginalized, most appearances of the divine feminine have been understood in a dualistic and problematic light. We have not had the safety valve of feminine metaphor in our spiritual understanding. Consequently, the feminine, both divine and human, have appeared monstrously contoured, threatening, and uncontrollable. The fact that our metaphors of deity can change or have different faces is foreign to the West understanding. The goddess can be viewed in many ways, a fact which can cause many philosophers and theologians to call the goddess fickle and mutable, changeable as a whore with her many clients. Okay, now that's, I don't know about that one. We know that some women are whores out there, but we don't want that type of energy here on this channel. We keeping it virgin. You feel me? It's better to be a virgin than a whore. Okay. It has always struck the West mind as aberrant that Hinduism can accept so repellent a form as Kali. Now, see, that's interesting. That's interesting. Kali. A lot of y'all might know who Kali is. A lot of y'all might not know who Kali is. Kali is the goddess of destruction. Go look it up. Kali. You know, that's that rage in a woman. You don't want to let that rage out of a woman. You don't want to let the Kali, make that Kali energy come out of a woman. Trust me, it's pretty deadly. You know, it's just like the feminine goddess in the Egyptian religion. The same type of energy, where that deity in Egypt is bloodthirsty. So you don't really want to invoke that type of energy out of a woman. All right. If the black goddess is denied, as she has been in our culture, she will make her appearance in ways that will remind us to respect her in the future, if there is a future. In the Hindu succession of ages, we are in the time of the Kali Yuga, the age of destruction. Okay, so we're in the Kali Yuga. So if you don't understand what that is, you have to go look up the yugas. Okay, that is YUGA. Okay, there has been different yugas. Right now we're in the Kali Yuga. Okay, so it's destruction. So that's why you see a lot of crazy things going on, a lot of wicked things going on, a lot of wild things going on, because we are in the Kali Yuga. Okay. Now that's a whole nother video. All right. We have so often only stressed the beneficial and the beauty that we have created a false archetype out of the divine feminine, the goddess, to be acceptable to our culture, has been to appear as sweetness and light, a cross between Marilyn Monroe and Venus de Milo, sexy and largely unintelligent. Such dangerous polarizations have hit hard in the West. Not only has this image set the norm for who womankind are viewed, it has unbalanced our relationship with the whole of creation. Western culture, like its orthodox spiritual forms, is dominating, dictating, and patriarchal. Okay, it does not allow the basic human freedoms to develop in a balanced way, wrapping even the qualities of wisdom, love, knowledge, and compassion. It is traditionally believed in Hindu culture that when someone establishes a spiritual relationship with Kali, a sacrifice will be demanded. Commitment to the black goddess is not to be taken lightly. Okay? Certainly. For she leads us in many ways which we will find hard. However, if there is a mutable respect between us and her, she will also lead us to the heart of truth and justice. Perhaps it is here that we find the beginning of wisdom within ourselves. If we start with the black goddess rather than with one of her more social acceptables faces, okay, we will never be led astray. If we embrace her as she is, we will find her wise love will transfer us. And as we change, so she also will change into a transcendently beautiful and wise metaphor, which we have chosen to call Sophia. This subtle alchemy is our spiritual task. The way of Sophia is the way of personal experience. It takes it into areas which we may call magical reality. Those creative realms to which ordinary mortals are called by right of their vocation and creative skills. However, the poetic, the magical, the creative inscapes of vision are often denied us by our culture. Anyone who has been into the world of vision, defined by many as unreal, knows that its power can enhance our lives. It is Sophia who acts as a way shower and companion on this inner quest, especially helpful for women, because Sophia's creativity has been denied. So basically what they're saying is we view women in a certain type of way. We don't usually view women as knowledgeable and, having wisdom. I mean, not having wisdom, because we know they get wisdom, but, being knowledgeable, being like, we see them as, sexual figures. And that's what they're saying the West has done, But when you go over to places like Middle East, you see they carry themselves differently. They have things over their faces. They cover their body up. Here in America, you might be bound to see a nipple or two, or at least the part. You're gonna see some cheeks coming out the bottom. They're gonna be showing women in a very promiscuous way, and that's what this is saying. That's what this is saying. So okay. Because Sophia's creativity has been denied, we see her in the cloak of the black goddess, moving silently and mysteriously about her work. The black goddess lies at the basis of spiritual knowledge, which is why her image continuously appears within many traditions as the veiled goddess, the black virgin, the outcast daughter, the wailing widow, the dark woman of knowledge. Our own search for the goddess, is one which is begun in darkness and unknowing. Ours is the knowing ignorance of the child in its mother's womb. We have to be born, and we are frightened of the extra womb dimension. The womb dimension. Okay. Once out of that womb, we begin to be terrified of our origins. But because when the baby come out, don't most babies cry? Let me know in the comment section, have you ever seen a baby that came out the womb that didn't cry? Terrified, crying, terrified. Okay, but one of the prophecies of Sophia is, I will give thee the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places. Remember that scripture out the Bible where it says that I will give you the treasures of darkness? Go look that up. It's a scripture in the Bible about the treasures of darkness I will give you. And that might be what this is talking about. You know what I mean? Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay? Which King Solomon had, and he just went crazy. A lot of people can't handle that type of power. King Solomon, he got so much power, he became wicked and doing wicked things. So everybody shouldn't have this power and this knowledge and this wisdom and the treasures of darkness, because a lot of people will turn very wicked. Okay, so those treasures of the divine feminine lie deep within us, waiting to be discovered. All right, we have only to consider the mystical experience of the dark night, as exemplified by John of the Cross and other mystics. Within the darkness of night, or the cloud of unknowing, we discover the heart of our spirituality. This is the seed experience of spiritual growth. To be held fast in the dark earth, to suffer the coldness of winter with germination may take place. It is return to the spiritual womb, in which we find the dazzling darkness spoken of by the mystical poet Henry Vaughan. Okay, so where's that right there? Okay, that's his name right there. See that? Henry. I already said that. I ain't good with names. Y'all gotta work with me with these words too. Alright, I'm no perfect reader, but y'all get me, okay? And then it says, okay, from Henry, this what he said: there is in God, some say, a deep but puzzling darkness. Okay, re-entering the womb is both a rebirth of the spirit and a death of the ego. Okay. And then it has this right here. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and read that. Okay. Dear boundless death, the jewel of the just shining nowhere but in the darkness, with mysterious to lie beyond thy dust. Good man outlook, that mark. Okay. And then it says, the school of dark night spirituality is found in most traditions that venerate the black goddess, not because she is sinister or evil, but because she is the powerhouse from whence our spirituality is fueled. It is a way of unknowing of darkness and uncertainty, yet the experience which is obtained by this path is one of illumination when the sun shines at midday, at 12 o'clock. Okay? This is the kindling of Sophia, who is transcendent pole of the black goddess. Though finding the connection between the two sometimes takes a long time because of our dualistic conditions. We fear the black goddess because we project our terrors upon whatever we do not know and what remains hidden from us. Her image has been pushed away so long, and now we are re-encountering her wherever we look. For she takes the face of nature to remind us of our responsibility for nature. Once our nature to remind us of our responsibility for nature, once our vision of nature and of the goddess were integral to ourselves. Okay? We participate in her substance, her nature, her processes, her play, and her work. Our divorce from this total participation is one of the effects of civilization. One of the chief problems is our disdain of matter, our own bodies and their functions, for they remain us of the humbling fact that we are matter. Okay. Communion with the black goddess is usually nonverbal, non-intellect. It derives through the body itself, for she is our basic prima material. Do you know what matters is? Have you tried asking the word back to its roots? It goes right back to Sanskrit. Push through the festive nature of matter, and where do you find yourself? Not, I assure you, in the kingdom of the leptons and the quarks, but in the black hole of magna matter. Okay, so I'm gonna let y'all see that, because those words were deep. See, the kingdom of the, go look those words up, the lepton and the quarks, but in the black hole of the magna matter. See these words, you gotta go look all these words up. Okay. Yes, the great mother herself. And it is terrible thing to fall into the lap of the living goddess. Okay, our fear of being exploded, diffused, or made chaotic may be our reaction to the idea of the black goddess who, like dark matter, controls the structure and eventual fate of the universe. Okay, so the black goddess, okay, she's the fate of the universe. Okay, and she ain't gotta have all of this. I don't know what this is. I don't know why she put that all in there. That's some voodoo stuff. I mean, I understand voodoo was used to hurt the slave masters. Okay, we're gonna get into that too. Voodoo was used to hurt the slave masters, not all this crazy voodoo they got going on here now. Okay, but I understand that. But she don't have to be cloaked in all of this neither. She could just be a regular black woman walking down the street. Okay. Okay, the black goddess is the mistress of the web of creation which is spun in her divine matrix. She is not separate from it, for she is it. One of the great spiritual mysteries is the way in which a mystic identifies with the deity that is considered to be the highest state of mystical awareness. The goddess similarly identifies with her creation. Many goddess mystics already acknowledge that identification with the goddess is an identification with the whole of creation. As science strives to uncover the mystery of dark matter, they can never figure us out. We are dark matter. Black people are dark matter. We're dark matter. They can't figure us out. Okay? The creating mother of the black goddess is already activated in the imaginations of spiritual seekers like me and you. If you here, then you a spiritual seeker. And the black goddess is already activating in you. Okay? So next, that's the end of that. Next time we're going to go into the wisdom of the serpent. Okay, we just finished this. Okay, the black goddess. Okay, so this is part 1. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all subscribing, and I hope y'all got some understanding from this.